Go.
Hi, my name is Georgia, and I'm going to help you make a beaded card holder for Prince Albert Métis Women Association. So you will each get a kit consisting of everything here. Your color of beads will be different though, but you'll have a thimble, a spool, a bobbin of thread, beading thread, and you'll have your glue and a stick. And here's your 2 pieces of hide. And here's your liner with your felt. And this is your pattern, the pattern that we're going to be using. So to get started, I am going to trim this down a bit. There we go. And we'd have to do some more. And then you take it, and on your shorter part of the hide, this is going to go on the inside. So you want the good side here. This is what's going to be on the front of your card holder. So you take your pattern, and you can turn it whichever way you want the leaves to land. But you got to make sure that everything is, you've got that edge, because you've got to bead on the edging here. So this is good. So what we're going to do is and we're going to be using 2 needles. You're going to thread this. Once you've threaded it, you're going to stretch it out at least 1 arm length. And you're going to secure I can't do it, a knot. Oh, I can't feel it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what you're going to do is to attach this paper, the paper on here, you're just going to tack it on here. And you want to try stay away from where you're going to be beading. You don't want that thread to come up there. So you're just going to make big You're going to do this all the way around. Whoops. Can you get that? Okay, we're just gonna end up. So that's the way you want it. And you're just gonna make a quick knot, because you don't want to, you're gonna remove that later. So now you can trim down your paper. There we go. So this is how your flower is going to be, and what you're going to do after is you'll pick that paper apart. So we're going to knot this. We're going to start the center of your flower. Okay, there we go. So what we're going to do, you never ever come up through the center, because your bead is going to lay sideways. So you want to kind of come up on the side here, just off center. You're going to pull that up, your thread through. Whoops. Okay, and you're going to grab one bead, and then you're going to come, this is your thread on the side, you're going to come on this end, because it's going to lay sideways. There you go. And now you're going to come up kind of right there, kind of between the white one and this outside, and you're going to put your needle through. That's a little bit too much. There we go. And now you're going to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what you do is you hold it and you wrap it right around your, oh, I still need more. I think I need one more. And you're going to come around the wrap it around. I should have used another color for the center. So you're going to just hold it there. Okay, so now I've threaded my second needle and I've knotted it, and again it's about arm's length, and you've double knotted at the end. And with this one, whoops, you've got your one center bead, and you put on 7 and you wrap it around like that. So just so it goes, it's going to look like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull your thread this way, and what you're going to do is slowly wrap every second one we're going to use. So I'm going to take my second needle, and I'm going to come up just behind this, right there. And you make sure your thread, oh, I lost it. That your thread is over here, because you're going to overlap that thread to secure those 2 in there. So when you got there, you go to the other side. Of your thread, and you pull it through. So those 2 are tacked down now. So you're going to take the next 2. So now you've got the thread, you dropped it down through those 2, so that those 2 are tacked down there. Then you're going to come up, you're going to go underneath and come up on this side in front of this, the 4th bead. So you go underneath. And again, your thread is on the outside. So you're going to pull the needle through. And then you're going to go on, make sure it's over on the other side. And you drop your needle down. And you're going to, now it's tacked in there. Then you're going to turn it around a little bit, and you're going to grab 2 more, and you're going to set it there, and you're going to come up on this here, right in there, from underneath. You just turn it around again, and you're on the, you're going to tack that thread in there. Oh, there you go. And there you've got your last one. And usually what I do, that you take your other needle where the beads you had attached, you put the beads on, and you go through this, the very first bead that you put on. And then you want to pull both of them. And there's your center of your flower. So we're going to go down in this one. And then we're going to do on the outside. So what, again, you're going to have to go in between 2 of the beads. You're going to come up again and kind of off, whoops, right in the middle there. There we go. So now you're going to put 1, we'll do 4. Whoops. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to drop it down, and then you want to wrap it around. So again, you're going to pull your thread, and you're going to take your nail and slide it over, and you take your other needle, and you're going to come up in the middle of the 4. Whoops. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. And then you're going to come in between, overlap that thread from the 4 beads, and you're going to come in, you're going to tack that down. There you go. And you're going to go around this way. You turn it and you hold it with your thumb and your finger underneath, and you're going to come out right on the other side of this thread. Right there. Whoops. Nope, not right there. And then again, you're going to make sure it's over top this thread right here. And you're going to slide your beads over. There. Now you take your other needle and you're going to grab 4 more here. Oh. So again, you're going to turn this and slide your nail, your beads over with your nail. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to come up in between those 4. And you go over top that thread. There, it's tacked in. And then you turn it again and you do exactly the same thing. Make sure your thread is furthest away. And then you come up. And then you're going to tack it down. Poked myself. Okay, and you're going to add more beads here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. We'll do 6. And then you grab your other needle. And you're going to do exactly the same thing all the way around. So you take your 2 beads, slide them over there. And you come up. And you overlap your thread. You tack it down, you grab your other 2, and you turn this. Come up. And then you got your other 2. And so again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my other needle that have the beads on, and I'm going to run it through here just through the one. And then I'm going to drop down. Oh. There we go. And there's your center of your flower. So now what we're going to do the dark blue on the outside, on the edge. So what you want to do is you want to come up this, right where the pattern is. And then you want, you can put as many beads on here as you want till you get to the tip. So I'm going to put 4. Whoops. And you're just going to keep going till you till you figure you got enough to the tip. Whoops. And you don't have to. You can actually just put on 4 beads, 6 beads, whatever you're comfortable with. And then you take it and you pull it, and you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to pull it really tight, and you're going to line your beads up there, and you're going to take your other thread, which is underneath here yet, and you're going to come up on the outside. Whoops, too far. Here we go. Whoops. There we go. And again, you want to make sure your thread is on the other side. Then you put it over and you put your needle down. Oh. There you go. It's tacked down, those two. So you take this again, you pull it, and you want to take the 4th one. And just pull this down tight. Oh my gosh. I'm poking my finger. Oh, that's too far. Okay, there we go. And just slide your thread over towards you, and then make sure your thread your needle goes down and you're on the other side. And there, that's tacked down. And then you're going to take the next 2. Oops, that's too far. There we go. And then you're gonna keep going all the way to the tip. So you take your thread, you go along this. And now you're going to take the next 2 again, and you're going to go and you go over top your thread. Now you're going to grab the next 2. Okay, so when you get to the point here, you're going to come up not too far. You're going to come up in between the two, and I'll show you why. Because you're going to go up, and then you're going to drop it down through here, through the middle between the two, and you're going to secure it in there. So what you want this point. So let's see if I can. And you're going to come above that last bead. And then you're going to take your needle and you're going to go through the top. Oops. There we go. Now, you take your other needle or you know what? And you're going to work your way down now. Okay, so now we've beaded all the way along the side there. And I'm left with one bead here. So I'm just going to pull it. And what I'm going to, oh, I could do another bead in there. Okay. So I'm going to take that. I added another one. And I'm going to pull it and have it like that. And I'm going to take my other needle. No, I'm not. I'm going to take this. Whoops. This, this is the needle that I put all the beads on. And I'm going to pull it really tight. And the ones in the bottom. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack it in there. Which one is it? There it is. And I'm going to tack it down in there. And see how it's going to line up there? There we go. So what I like to do when I'm done a row or a petal, I just like to make a double knot. And then I'm going to come up and I'm going to take that same needle watch you don't tangle your threads in the back. But then I'm going to come up. I'm going to take that and I'm going to come up right here, right by that bead and on the inside of the dark blue. So I use my nail and my finger underneath to guide my my needle. I'm going to come up through there. I'm going to pull it. Then I'm going to add the light blue for the inside of the petal. Whoops. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to lay it in there. And I'm going to need about 5 more. There we go. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to take my second needle, and we're going to do the same thing again. I'm going to pull this really tight here, and I'm going to put my nail between the two, push it towards the center, and I'm going to come up between the dark blue and the light blue and make sure my thread is on the other side. Oh, geez, I just dropped the needle. And then we're going to go over top again. And we're going to tack those two in there. Oh. I'm all tangled. Okay, you gotta... Okay, I've got myself untangled. Okay, I'm gonna hold those two down, and I've looped it around the thread, so those two are tacked down now. So I'm gonna push another two, and I'm going to, underneath, I'm going to guide it between the two beads again. Or you could go on the outside as well. We'll do, whoops, will that one come up between? And then you're gonna go over top again. And then you're gonna take two more, slide it down, whoops. And if you find you've gone too far, that's okay. You just pull it through and then put it underneath. And then you're going to, because I went too far out, so we want to, there we go. You want to kind of keep them close. So drop it out down between the two. So there was 3 there, so we're going to just take one more, and you're going to push it down, and you're going to, come up in between the two. There we go. Going to put all 3 of them in there, and I'm going to come up right there. Right. There we go. And I'm going to go over top and then down. There we go, that's tacked in. And then we're going to do the same thing with that singular one up there. Ow. And then I'm going to go through here. Whoops. Through the top. Just to make that point. And then you're going to put on your... You're going to add more beads. And you're going to continue to do the same thing. You're going to take your other needle and you're going to tack every second one again, all the way down. Okay, so now we've come down and I've tacked all these light blue ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my needle, whoops, drop my needle right down here. And I'm going to pull it and I'm going to come up right about here, right in this, right about there, in the middle of those two. There we go. Then you're going to put on, you're going to put on the light blue. Whoop. And you're going to slide them along. So that looks like about enough in there. And what you can do is, if you want, you can put another row on the inside there. I'll do this one first. Okay, I'm just going to take the two and I'm going to tack down those two. And when you tack them down, you'll find that you either need more beads or there'll be a larger opening. So I'm just going to keep going here and I'll show you. And usually what I do is because with the flower, what I'll do is I'll do all the outlines of the petal of the flower and the outline of the leaves, and then I take the paper off. It really... So I'm going to take two again, and I'm going to come up on the fourth. Whoops, too far over. There we go. There we go. So I come out on the outside, so I'm just going to take my thread and go over, and I'm going to go in between here to tack down, whichever way you find easiest. And then you take the other two and you guide it down, or I've got all three of them there. So I'm going to come up just before this last one. And then I'm going to, because I come up on the inside, I'm going to go on the outside and tack those two down. Then I'm going to take my other needle and I'll go to the top here, and I'm going to go right in the middle there. There. Now I'm going to take my my other needle, and I am going to come up right there, and then I'm going to, and see, once you tack them down, they're kind of in place now, and there's a larger opening, is where, if you remember, it just kind of looked like it filled up the whole center. So now you're just going to add some more beads. 4, 5, or I got 6. We'll try 6 in there. What the heck? Stuck on the paper. Okay, so maybe I'll leave the 6 on there, because once we tack them down, they kind of fit in there. But I'll try it with the 6. So we're going to do the same thing. You're going to take your other needle, which is underneath. Whoops. And you're going to grab your thread, and you're going to push and tack them in again. And then your needle, you're going to come up. Whoops. We'll take the 2 right there. But these ones, they stay in place better when it's set down like that. So you're going to take the 2 and you're going to come up in between here. There we go. And then you're going to go around on the other side of the thread. So those 2 are tacked down. Now you're going to go 3 and you're going to go 4. And you're going to come up. Okay, I come up on the other side, but that's, like I said, it doesn't matter. You can go on the outside, and then you go over top. You always make sure you go over top that thread where the beads are on, and you pull it through, and you tack. It's tacked on there. So we're going to see if this can fit in there. Or maybe take that one out. Yeah. Whoops. So you just remove that one. And because it's your last 2, you can go and you can take that same needle that where your beads are on, and you just drop it down in there. There you go. So you want to take your other, and you just want to pull them tight. There you go. And you do that with every one of the petals. And you take your one of your needles, because they're both underneath now. And you take one of them and you come up here. You always, wherever your thread is closest to, either this side or that, and because you want to start on this petal now. So you go all the way to here, whoops. And you just pull your needle through. And you do exactly the same thing. You add the dark, because you're doing the outline, so you do use your dark blue again all the way up. And go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll try it with 10. You can still go a little bit more. 12, 13, 14. There you go. So now you're going to do exactly the same thing again. You're going to take your thread and your thumb. You're going to pull it and you're going to use your thumb and guide it right there. You take your other needle and you come up, and you're going to come up between the two beads again. There we go. And you're going to go over top of that thread where the beads are on, and you're going to drop down. Oh. Did a little bit of work, and I went and outlined all of the petals of the flower. And I want to start with the last leaf here. And I left this one because I want to fill that in. I want to show you how, because it's not wide enough to lay down the beads that way, so I'm going to start on this other petal. And again, you're going to go to the very bottom, and you're going to come out right at the tip. With your one needle. And this is the first needle we're going to put. This is the one where we load up all the beads onto. 4, 5. Okay, so we're going to take our second needle, and it's already knotted at the bottom. Then we're going to take your string, your thread with the beads on it, and you're going to grab the two, put your nail between there, and then you're going to use the back here to line up, and your nail up front. And I can go a little bit over. And I want to try and get onto this line here of the petal. So we come up and we go over top the thread with the beads on. And those two are tacked down. Then you take the next two and you hold it, your finger and your thumb, and you're holding it in place. There we go. Come up and you go over that thread. You take two more. You come up. Then you take two more and you keep going all the way to the tip. There. Okay, so we're just about at the point, and I'll show you another way to do the point. But you, okay, you're gonna take your other needle, the one that you put the beads, you line the beads up on, in. You're gonna pull it. And then you're gonna drop down in here, right at the very point. There you go. So you take your other needle and you come up the same in front of that last bead, and then you go through the top one, and then you string your beads onto this one. Okay, so I've went ahead and I filled in, I did this one leaf here on the side, and I had before I'd done this one, but I left this here because I wanted to show you what happens when you have a space in there, but it's not enough, because if you lay your beads down the same way inside there, they're not going to fit. So there's the other way that you can do it. And what I do is you come up in toward this here side of the beads with your needle. Oops. There we go. So we come up through there, and I'm only using one needle this time. So I'm going to put one bead on, and I'm going to lay it across the other way. Whoops. There. And we're going to have it sitting like that. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go directly above it and tack it in that way. We had a little bit of camera difficulties, so I'm going to pick up here. So I got 2 of them in already, so I'm going to start on the 3rd, and I'm going to come up in between those 2 beads, and I'm going to grab just the 1 bead again, and I'm going to slide it all the way down. I'm going to set it inside here. Whoops. And I'm going to hold it like that, and I'm going to go right on the very top and tack it in. There you go. So I could put another one in there. I think I will. I'm going to come up there. And I've got the one, and I'm going to slide it all the way down, and I'm going to tuck it inside there. There we go. Then I'm going to go, you can still see your thread here, so I'm going to go right on top, right above the one I just set in there. And there you go, it's tacked in. So we filled up that space in there. So what I'm going to do now, and when I tie it at the back, I go through once and I go twice. And then I just hold it at the base and pull it. And I make a couple of them just so to secure it in there. There we go. And then you take your scissors. Oh, you can't see. You just take your... There you go. So now I'm going to take in and fill all these in. But what I usually do, as soon as I get the outline of the flower done, I usually take my needle and I remove this paper because you don't need it anymore. So I'm going to take the tip of my needle and I'm just going to score it all the way down, all the way around. And you just put a little bit of pressure. And then you just start pulling at it. And it's like perforated, it ends up being like perforated paper because you've put when you've tacked in your beads along the side. So you can just pull this paper out. And so we can remove this as well. So you just take because you had just put great big long stitches in. And you can just take this all off. And then on the back, here's the knot. There you go. So what you can do now is you just tear it from the tip where easiest, and you just pull your paper out. You just do this all the way around. See how it just pops out? Doesn't take much to pull it off. There you go. And when you get paper that's still in there, if you have tweezers or a seam ripper, you got to be careful with the seam ripper, but you can pull all these out. There you go. Okay, we'll leave it. I'll pull it out a little later. But anyways, there's your flower. It looks totally different without the paper. And like I say, I'll fill all these in. So, and then it'll be ready. And then we can glue this onto the front, onto the back of your card case. And the thing is about too, when you're cutting the felt out, this is the back side of the felt, and I cut my pattern on there on the back side because so you won't see the markings, because all of this is going to be covered. You're going to have it like that, and this is the good side of the felt. If you can kind of see a little bit of the difference, but this is the softer side and this one's kind of rough. So what I always do, and if you cut your own, just mark on the back here, like this one here is, you can see the ink, the pattern, the ink mark. So you can just make a little slash mark or something, just so you keep, you remember that this is the back side and this is the good side. And that's the same thing with your hide. When you're cutting it, there's the good part, good side, and then the bad one. And like I say, you always use the bad side to cut your pattern, because then you don't get the ink mark showing on the front. And then the two bad parts go together. Whoops. The two bad parts here go together like that. And so you got the good there and the good on the other side. So what we're going to do is, because this one is not ready, you have to fill in these here. So what we're going to do is, I am going to glue this on, and I want to make sure that when you put this on, you never ever put the glue to the very edge, because then you can't, when you're doing your edging, it's all together and you're doing your edging, the glue is really stiff and you can't pass, it's really difficult to pass it through there. So, and that's why you have the stick. So we're going to do that right now. And you also have to be very careful when you put the glue on, you don't put too much, because it'll absorb into here. And yeah, it'll absorb and it'll go right through, and then you're going to end up with really dry, it'll be really rough on this side, and you'll have to kind of, if it happens, you just kind of have to work it till it softens up. So I'm going to put it on this, on the hide. And you don't need very much. You stay away from the edges. Oh, geez. Well, this might be a bit of an overkill. But there you go. And then you take your felt and you lay it on there. Oh, and try not to push too hard. Just kind of gently rub it on there, because like I say, you don't want the glue to come seeping through. And you got to try get this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there you go. And you let it dry. And like I say, don't push hard on it. And then we will, once the flower is done, we'll do exactly the same thing with the front part of it. Okay, we're back. And what I've done, I finished the flower and I glued the felt onto it. But just a reminder, you don't go to the edges. You never put the glue along the edges, just in the center, and never really press down on it, because the glue can sometimes seep through this craft felt, and then it'll make it really rough. This way, it's nice and soft and smooth yet. So what you do is you line this up and you make sure you've got all your 2 pieces of felt and your 2 pieces of hide lined up. And then if you might have to trim off. I trimmed off a bit of the felt and some places some of the leather, just to line it all up. So once you've got this all together and lined up, you thread your needle arm's length, but this time you double knot it on the bottom. So what you want to do, and you want to hide the tail of the thread. So what you want to do is you want to just wait. I want to hide the tail. So what I'll do is go to the very edge of here, of the shortest part on the front. And when you pull your thread, it goes in between the felt on the back side of your card holder. It'll go, you put your needle in between the two and you come out on the back side, but you tuck your tail inside so you don't see it. There you go. So now you're going to line this up, and we're going to do a trim. And you put on 3 beads. And you drop them all the way down. And what you're going to do is you're going to come around. You want your beads to sit like this. We're going to do some people call this the lace trim, and they're going to sit like this. So what you want to do is you kind of measure your, this bead here is going to stand up like that. And this, the last one you put on it's also going to stand along there. So what you got to do is try to eye it so that your beads will be like this. So I want to take my needle and I figure right about here. And you're going to push it through, all the way through. And when you need a little help, if you're going to, when you push the needle, the back of, help it go through the pieces of hide, you make sure you've got a cutting board or something solid underneath so that you can use, because if you use your table, you'll end up with a bunch of pinholes. And you just wiggle it through and you pull it. So you're going to go through that last bead and you're going to go up. And you're going to go all the way around like that. So you start off with 3, then the next one you add 2. And you do exactly the same thing. You kind of eyeball where your bead is going to go. It's going to go right about there. So on the other back side, and you push it through. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go through that bottom bead. Just the bottom one. And see, it's already taking shape. So again, you grab 2 more. Whoops. And you eyeball it again. Just the width of the bead itself. So you go to that one that's in the bottom, you go just through that one, and there you go. So we'll do a couple more. Whoops. Then you go through that last bead, the bottom one. There you go. And you just repeat it all the way around, all the way. And then again, you go from the bottom one. You just go through the one bead. And then you just pull it. Yeah, we're going to go through the bottom one there. Okay, so we're just going to keep going all the way around. Okay. Okay, so this, I'm going to stop here. I've did a little bit here, but what I'm going to do is show you how to we'll do exactly the same thing along this edge, because as we get closer, go around, you won't be able to hold it open. So we're going to do exactly the same thing here. I am going to go on the inside of my hide in between here, and we're going to pull it up. So you take the tail and you tuck it in there. So we're going to start off with 3 beads again. We're going to go on the back of the purple here. And use your nail as a guide, so where you want your needle to come up through. And just wiggle it through. Whoops. So we're going to kind of turn them around, because you want these to sit up on top. So I'm going to go to this back bead, and I'm going to put it through just that last one. There we go. I'm going to go 2. Now we take just 2 beads, and you kind of line it up just a bead space. But make sure you catch your felt in there. And then you're going to go to the back side again and just up that 1 bead. So see, now you can kind of see your pattern is coming together. And make sure that you pull your thread tight so it hides the threading. You see there, and over here, if you look at this side, I didn't go as tight, and you can kind of see it. And then you just keep going all the way around here.
Go.
Okay, so now we've beaded it all the way around here. And then, so when you get, and I did this as well. So what I'm going to do is, I've already got 2 beads on here, and I'm going to run it through the back, do the same thing. Then you go up just the 1 bead. And as you go, you can pull it tight here, and you have to be careful when you when you pull your thread, it'll start fraying up here, so you have to be careful. So anyways, I'm going to put 2 on again. Oh no. Okay, you got to stop it. I think I got. Okay, now I got that, the last one on to, and what we're going to do is we're going to take that and the very first bead, kind of lopsided there, you're going to go up through there. Whoops. And I looped my needle in there. There we go. So we're going to pull it really tight. And then we're going to do the same thing around this edge. So again, you just go the 2. And you got to kind of try and get behind, because that's not double hide anymore. There we go. You bring them forward. And you add 2 more. And it's a lot easier now that because you're just going through the felt and the hide. I go up through. There we go. Ow. So you just continue all the way around to the edge, to this end here. Okay. And just make sure that you pull it really tight. Okay, I'm going to continue all the way around. Okay, we're getting to the very end. And so we're going to keep going. Just add a couple more onto here. Oh, dang it, we got a knot. Oh, there we go. Pull it tight. And the nice thing about the video is because when you get confused or you forgot something, you can go back and rewind it or just pause it. Okay, I think we just need a couple more here. Okay, we just need, I think this is the last one. Don't do that. Okay, there we go. So what we're going to do is the very first bead that you put on, right down, right here, that's where you're going to take your, add one bead, and you're going to come up from the bottom. There you go. So you're finished with this. So what you want to do is, I always double knot this. And you want to pull it really tight. And you want to put your nail down there and push hard and pull. There, your knot is done. So you want to hide this, your tail again. So you're going to go behind and get through the, what do you call that? The felt. like to do is just go up here. Wait, we'll knot it again. And you do exactly the same thing. And stick your nail in there and pull. And then all I'm trying to do now is hide the tail so I can cut it off. Cut. Oh. Ow! Oh, and you make a tiny little stitch in there. Some people just knot it and then right when you finish and knot it and then cut it off. But there you go. You're done. And if you want to be really creative, you could bead the back side as well. That's if you choose to. But there you go. Here we go. We'll use this card. And look at how nicely it slides in there. There you go. And over time, it'll stretch out. So it's like it might feel snug at now, but it'll eventually, once you use it more, it'll eventually stretch. And thank you. And thank you again, Prince Albert Meidi Women Association.